Well, g'day. I've got Anton with me, and Anton and I met recently through a business that we both work online. We both have our individual businesses, but we do the same type of business online. So thanks for jumping on with me, Anton.
Yeah, pleasure, Dwayne. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, and I think you've been in a little bit longer than me. So one of the things that we do in our online business is attraction marketing. And I just happened to be scrolling through my posts one day and I saw that you put up a post about being at a men's retreat for the weekend. So I found that very interesting because I'm interested in the dynamics between men and women and how we interact online with strangers and with each other. So I thought that was really interesting. So that was the main reason why I wanted to get you on today. But I've got a series of questions that I want to ask you. If you could elaborate on those, that'd be awesome. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Love
Awesome.
to. Thanks.
So I guess for those who are watching, I'm going to break this into several parts. So if you're watching this probably over a week or 2 weeks, we're going to break Anton's answers to these questions into smaller chunks so that you can digest them more quickly and readily. But first of all, Anton, give us a brief background of you, an introduction of yourself and what your journey's been over the last, well, let's say 20, 30 years. Can you do that in 5 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I was going to say, is he going to say a year or 20, 30? Yeah, that's good. So basically my background is as a chiropractor. And in fact, I have been working as a chiropractor for just a bit over 30 years. So, I'm from Sydney, Australia. I was born in London, actually, as it happens, but brought up here in Sydney, and really loved my profession, and I still do it. So I still do a day and a half a week of chiro, just to be clear about that. And I have lots of long-standing clients that I see and things. And then I've moved into this business, and we can obviously touch on that a bit more later. So, and I have had practices in the centre of Sydney, like literally set up a practice in George Street at 25. You do gutsy things at 25. You've got to remember to keep being gutsy as you get older in some ways. And then went to London, had a job lined up a job there, but ended up staying there for 9 years, all through the 90s, had my children there, and really got, in fact, very established there, like owned houses, had a business partnership, obviously married with kids. And but then it was decided to come back to Australia to bring the kids up here, and went and set up a practice in Sydney's Northern Beaches. So that's been my journey and with chiropractic. And really what that's about, or what that part of that background is really, firstly, it's all about helping people. I mean, I really, if someone says, what do I love about that aspect of my work? It's like, well, just people, really. I just love having conversations. And the wonderful thing about that is I've had, just basically tens of thousands of conversations with people from literally all walks of life. So everything from little old ladies to the 2-year-olds to the teenagers to, people who run multinational corporations to rock stars and movie stars and sports stars and the whole gamut. And one of the great things about that, and it's an incredible privilege also to have experienced that, is that people are just people. Like, you really get, we're just all human beings doing the best we can, Doesn't matter how much money you've got or how famous you are or any of that. It all comes down to just, so I love that humanity and the importance of connection, communication, relationships. So they're the things that sort of, light me up in terms of what I relate to or like to do.
So how does your journey relate to personal development? You've also been heavily involved in that too. Can you give us a bit of a rundown on why you're interested in personal development?
Yeah, absolutely. And that sort of also, does lead into the business that we're in, really. I first picked up Tony Robbins' book at the age of 25. It was literally leapt out of me from a bookshelf. I was walking along George Street. I've got it in Sydney, and there was a bookshop at the time. And that had a window down at almost like at your feet level, like it's the most interesting. And I literally was walking along, and my eye caught this book, and I literally stopped in my tracks, turned, and where they sometimes turn the books to face out from the bookshelf to get your attention. it was Awaken the Giant within Tony Robbins. I knew nothing about Tony Robbins at the time. I mean, nobody did. He was like first book. This is a long time ago. And I went, I've got to buy that book. And so that was the start of my personal development journey. And I've really, done stuff with DeMartini and within chiropractic, there's a lot of personal development on the basis that where you're mostly self-employed. You've got to get into that sort of entrepreneurial business-like side of things and learn a lot about communication and how do you motivate yourself and set goals and all of, even within the practice management side of chiropractic, there's a lot of personal development, for example. And then as I've gone on through life, I then moved into life coaching a few years ago. I started to explore that, but really, I just love with personal development, the exploration of our consciousness, how our mindset affects obviously our everyday life and manifests out in the world. And that also leads to sort of what we're doing, where we get to sort of really explore that and kind of make the rubber hit the road a little bit in that respect too.